Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. Welcome to the session on 1/10/2022. So guys, in today's session, we'll try to see the important points. Yeah. So Russia annexes 4 Ukraine regions. So this is going to be a big news. Reserve Bank raises rates by 50 basis points. 1 basis point is 0.01%. That is 0.01%. 50 basis points means 0.50. They have actually increased. Brings down growth outlook to 7%. What is the meaning of growth outlook? That means what we are projecting. So let me explain you about this a little bit because always questions are asked in different manners, guys. Now, just to begin with, see, guys, this is a very simple topic. What is happening? You have RBI, fine. RBI, what it can do? First, let us learn that. RBI won't give money to people directly, but RBI gives money to banks, fine, and withdraws or takes money back from the banks. Fine. RBI can give money to the banks or RBI can take money from the banks. You see here. What does banks do? Banks can give money to the people or banks won't give money to the people. Fine. Now, whenever RBI gives money to banks at lower interest, banks give that money to people, correct? At lower interest. Now, whenever RBI says I will give you higher interest, see, if RBI says you give me 1 crore rupees, let me give this example. RBI will tell to banks, if you give any money to me, I will give you low interest. If you want any money from me, I will give you at low interest. Fine. So what banks will do? Banks will take money from the RBI and give it to the people. And they give it to the people at what? Like, little higher interest rate, but their aim will be to give it to people. Now, when RBI says higher interest rate, banks will think I also have to give to people at high interest. Correct? Now, I want to purchase a house. I will go to bank. Bank will tell, sir, interest rates are high. I will give you at higher interest rate. I will tell, sir, I can't pay so much. Then they will tell, sir, if you can't pay, come when inflation is less, I will give you at a lower interest rate. then what you people will do? You will feel, okay, fine, I won't take it from the bank. Leave it. Then from where will I take? Or where, what will the banks do? Banks will tell, I don't want to give it to people because it's risky. They might not pay me back on time. So let me give more money to RBI. People also don't want to take. Banks also don't want to give. So what is going to happen? The money will go to RBI. So guys, from this entire argument, you see what is happening is, whenever RBI increases, these points must be there in notes, increases interest rates, right? Banks give money to RBI and not to people much. So what is going to happen? People will have less money, and as people have less money, they will have less demand. As there is less demand, there will be less inflation. At the same time, less demand means low GDP. Correct, guys? Now let us say RBI decreases interest rate, banks give money to people, people will have more money, more demand, more inflation, more GDP. Fine. So now RBI has a goal, either to reduce inflation or to increase GDP. Now, what is the two things RBI has? One is to reduce inflation, another one is to increase GDP. Remember, guys, whenever I need to reduce inflation, I need to increase interest rates. Fine. Whenever I need to increase GDP, reduce interest rates. Fine. So what is the current thing? You have something called as Monetary Policy Committee, which has 3 members from the government and 3 members from the RBI. These two together has told that it will be 5:1. That is like, out of 6 people, 5 have told, let us reduce inflation. One has told, let us focus on GDP. So 5 people won. So they have increased interest rates, because not only India, the world is focusing on controlling inflation today. because it is going beyond control. So today the RBI's responsibility is to reduce, inflation. You might think, sir, are we not compromising on the GDP? See, yes, I'll tell you this way. We have two choices, right? Either I have to reduce inflation or increase GDP. Now, if I increase GDP and if I give more money to the people, already inflation is increasing. And if inflation increases beyond a point, then people will stop purchasing because they will not have money, enough money to purchase. You're talking only about why will people take loan, you tell me. People take loan to take cars, right, to run industries or houses and all, correct? But common man, inflation will affect even common man. Now they may start using the products much, and when they stop using the products, then the problems actually increases. So again GDP will be affected. High inflation over a period of time will automatically reduce GDP and it will burden the people. So any economist at any point of time realizes that rather than collapsing over a period of time, let us focus on systematic reduction in inflation so that once inflation comes under control, immediately I will boost growth. And India's growth prospects is not too bad. It's decent enough. They're projecting 7%. So working on it is not wrong, guys. Kharge, Tharoor among three Congress poll contestants. Is this is happening from long, this is like a news which is not required, don't worry. So now let us go to editorial. Yeah. Letting go of a chance to democratize telecom services. Guys, this is written by a NGO. Fine. This is written by an NGO person. Council at the Internet Freedom Foundation. Fine. I want you people to read this article to know how you should not write answers. It's not how to write answers, how you should not write answers. Why? I'll tell you. See, what is the exam that you are aiming to write? This is a UPSC exam, and in the UPSC exam, there are certain things which are extremely important. No one will tell you must be anti human rights. No one will tell you should remove rights of the people. But monitoring, bringing people on the same line is very, very important. Today, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, these have taken over, and whenever there is any crisis, wrong messages have been spread, and many issues are going on, as you are aware. Now, as a IAS officer, what is my thought process? I need to have control over this, then only I will have control over the society. Correct. My control over society is not to rule them. My control over society is to protect them from the negativity. As my soldier stands in the border and try to prevent the negative people coming into our territory, it is very important to guard how the technology is being misused to create hatredness in our society. See, yes, India is a very fragile society. Every community loves every other community. But there are some points where everyone gets irritated. Hindus may get irritated from Muslims, Muslims may get irritated from Christians, Christians may get irritated from Hindus. This is a common thing. Hindus love Muslims, Muslims love Christians, Christians love Hindus. This is also a common thing. So now, if you want, I can show 100 examples to build bonding, and I can show 2 examples to break the bonding. So when we are living in such a fragile society, it is extremely important for us to know how to modulate our answers. How exactly are we trying to help the society at large? On the other hand, the two ladies who have written this, they are not wrong. See, they are writing for an NGO's cause. They are talking for people's rights. Such people must exist in the society. They should fight. Then only, if government is misusing, they will tell to the government where they are misusing. When you give powers to the state, you must also know whether the state is using it rightly or not. So, they are right. But we should not, as UPSC aspirants, we should not think about such answers. So, I'm not blaming the article, and I'm blaming the article for UPSC exam. Please don't write such answers where for you colonial mindset, colonial law, centralization, over centralization, until and unless it fits into those things, don't talk. No discrimination. Supreme Court ruling makes it easier for more women to get safe abortions. That's yesterday's news we saw. Yes, this is a very excellent article, as India is keeping an eye on the elderly, but half of it is talking about the population statistics, which is important from geography optional point of view, and also important from sociology, important from Indian society point of view. Fine. So in this article, they are trying to talk about the number of people who will be elderly by 2050. So we should be ready to protect them. So I want you to write down this. You can write population, society and geography. You write below United Nations marks October 1st as World World or International Day for Older Persons. International Day for Older Persons. Next you write by 2050 16% of the world population 16% of the world population will be above 65 years, will be above 65 years. Next, by 2050, by 2050, elderly will be elderly will be more than elderly will be more than children under 5 years. Children under 5 years. Next, guys, you write India will be among India will be among 8 countries, 8 countries which has highest population. Is this you must keep it and write answers, guys. It's very, very important. Yeah. And guys, here you have the article on Gujarat did well to organize the national games in a short time. There are 6 cities, 36th national games, not for UPSC but for other exams that will be important, guys. Yes, this article tries to read on what all happened about PFI, not required. Karge represents status quo and I stand for the change that ordinary party workers. G23 is not some countries, it is about these people only. BJP Santosh, not required. India Nepal forces agree to stop misuse of territories. Yes, both the people have agreed that, like, our territory must not be misused against Nepal and their territory must not be used against India, that they are talking about. And I just want you people to be aware in this particular article. uh, See guys, India Nepal border is actually guarded by what we call as Sashastra Seema Bal. I want you to be aware about this. Sashastra Seema Bal. Yeah. See guys, US is sanctioning Indian petrochemical company for Iran oil purchases. See, what is this sanction? I'll tell you. Actually, Iran was trying to develop nuclear weapons, guys. At that time, the world imposed sanctions on Iran, especially Obama government spoke with these people and removed the sanctions, for which Obama was given Nobel Peace Prize as well. But later it was seen that Iran was still developing these, so Trump administration had imposed sanctions on them. So India and other countries had stopped reducing imports from Iran. But recently, Iran India met, we were having some discussions, and we were talking to Iran to get oil. So at that point of time, US is trying to put sanctions on Indian based company so that we will not purchase oil from Iran. So this is the story, guys. Nothing much. We'll wait because it may be removed as well. So we need to wait and watch. See guys, Armed Forces Special Powers Act. recently we read that in northeast India things are becoming well, and AFSPA is removed slowly. But today we are getting a news that AFSPA is reimposed. So don't think that reimposition means they are trying to remove, or they removed first and then they are imposing. Already it was there. They extended it in few areas again by 6 months. See guys, what is AFSPA? Armed Forces Special Powers Act. So let me explain you. In Nagaland, there was a person by name AZ Fizo, and what that guy used to do, he learned guerrilla warfare, and he trained his people also with guerrilla warfare, and tried to fight with Assam rifles who were fighting in, like Nagaland. At that point of time, India tried its level best to fight, but the forces could not. Then army came up and army told, I will protect the country, but I want some additional laws. No one should blame me, no one should punish me. Then India introduced AFSPA, according to which if they find anyone suspicious, they can arrest them. If they find any building is misused, they can raid it, they can blast the building, right? They can punish the miscreants. So more powers was given to the army. But this more powers actually led to lot of issues, guys. But you see, FSPA came in 1958 mainly to ensure that in certain regions, there is peace that is present. Yes, in internal security, they will be teaching you the basics of all this. I'm just giving you the background of it, guys. Mortality higher among COVID-19 patients with chronic diseases. I just want you to know most of the people who are at the age of 35, 40, they are dying all of a sudden due to chest pain, all these aspects. And mostly it is associated with COVID as well. People who are affected with COVID over a period of time, they are succumbing to such problems, and we are observing in and around one or the other people are dying due to some issues at a very young age. So the report is confirming this. So certain schemes in Gujarat don't see for a while because elections are coming. So lot of election news will be there. Yes, ED issued 5,551 crore seizure order against Xiaomi. Yes, this Chinese companies, what they have done, they have opened in the name of one company, multiple other companies, and they have sent the profit to China in the name of those other companies. See, guys, I earn money from one company, I distribute it to another company, and from that company, I will send back to my home country. China is doing this worth how much? 5,500 crores. So ED has put a case against them to take the property. So that that regulations will be not violated. Iran is ruthlessly suppressing protests. Amnesty International. Yes, Putin annexes four Russia held regions. If you can open your atlas and check Luhansk, Donetsk, Kherson, Zaporizhia. These are the four places which are present on the eastern side of Ukraine, and Russia captured it and asked the people whether they want to be with Ukraine or to be with Russia, and the people have voted to be with Russia, and Russia has annexed it officially. Today, these four have become part of Russia. Earlier, Russia attacked and captured what we call as Crimea, and now Russia has captured it. Geographically, these four regions are extremely important for us, and I want this to be in your notes. the Russia Ukraine war, if you have written anywhere, any point in that, you also add Luhansk, Donetsk, Kherson, Zaporizhia. These are actually under the control of Russia today. Ukraine rules out talks with Putin. Putin is actually asking now, let's come for talks. Winter is coming, I told you. So Zelensky is telling we won't talk and we will go to what we call as NATO, is what they are trying to tell. This may further complicate the matters, but they also can't leave the land. If someone comes and takes away our land and sits and talks with us, like we won't talk to them, right? The same thing is happening here. Fine. So yes, now will ensure financial stability despite global challenges. I want you to see this article specifically because I have explained you what is happening, but it will try to tell you how exactly you need to look into these particular aspects. Nothing much. I have explained why, we have increased it and all. This article will help you further in that. Core sector slowed to 3.3%. That is, GDP has not performed well in the core sector. And remember, guys, core sector, if at all those companies perform well, the related companies will also perform well. That is what we normally have a tendency to think. So let us see how exactly it works. Fine, guys. So these are some of the important issues we had. Think rest not so important. Thank you, guys.